Hi guys, it's Jessie from the blog Jessie's Food, Faith, and Family. As the weather starts to cool down and soups return to the rotation of weekly meals in my house, this delicious recipe will certainly make its way to the table, and I hope it makes its way to your table and your heart as well. This is my Better Than Cracker Barrel's Hamburger vegetable soup recipe, and it is full of flavor and filling, and it's perfect for those cold and rainy days in the fall and winter when you need something to warm you up from the inside out. It's a delicious tomato-based broth with fresh vegetables, or in my case, I take a little help from the grocery store and use freshly frozen vegetables. It has chunks of creamy russet potatoes and seasoned ground beef, or again in my case, ground deer. It is warm soup season, and this easy dinner is comfort food to the max. If you've been around my blog for any length of time, you will know how picky my family is. And that pickiness doesn't just involve the recipes and ingredients. It also includes the time of year. Yeah, the seasons. You heard me right. If it's hot outside, soups, stews, and chilies and other heavy meals are absolutely banned. And instead, we opt for lighter, cooler, fresher items on the menu. But if it's cold, rainy, or snowing outside, which in Louisiana only happens every 10 years or so, everybody expects a thick, hearty dish to land on the dinner table, accompanied by bread of some kind. In our house, we really like yeast rolls, and we're big fans of cornbread. And that's where this delicious hamburger vegetable soup lands. It is the perfect meal for long winter months that are cold, and it can even show up a little early or late in those transition months too. Now, you might think I have something against Cracker Barrel country store and restaurant, but I don't. It's just a Southern style eatery that's very popular in our area, and I'm a competitive person. So when I eat there, which is kind of rare, it is a little bit of a tradition for us to eat breakfast at Cracker Barrel on the way home from our vacation if there's one nearby. But whenever I do eat there, I always debate whether my version of their dish is better. And if I think that their rendition is pretty tasty, I come home and do my best to copy it or beat it. And it's not just Cracker Barrel that I compete with. One time I tasted a slice of pie at Olive Garden. I came home to recreate it, entered it into a pie contest, and I won. So let me catch you up really quick. All I've done is I've taken my pound of lean ground beef. In my case, I used some deer. I browned it in my Dutch oven. You can use a large stock pot or any large pot that you have. I made sure that my meat was all browned, and if I needed to remove any residual oil or grease, I did that. And then I added my seasonings. I let those seasonings become fragrant, work that in really well, and then I added my frozen mixed vegetables, I added my water, my tomato sauce, and I make sure all of that is mixed well and incorporated, and then I turned my heat up because I want to bring my broth to a boil, and I went ahead and peeled my potatoes, but now I'm going to cut them, and I'm going to cut them into similar size pieces, bite-sized pieces, because everyone's going to get these chunks of potato in their soup. You don't want them to be so large that we can't get them in our mouth, and you don't want them to be so small that you barely know that they're in there. So I'm just going to show you how I choose to cut my russet potatoes. I cut the whole potato in half, and then I cut the halves in half again, and then I turn that to the side, and then I just chop them into pieces, and it's perfect, and it turns out well every single time. Now, another reason I like this dish is because of what I can eat with it. Now, my husband prefers cornbread with his soup, but I actually like to make grilled cheese sandwiches to dip into the broth. It's a combination that we used to have in the school cafeteria when I was a child, back when they made the food from scratch and seasoned it really well. So it's very nostalgic for me, and it is super delicious. If you've never tried the vegetable soup grilled cheese combo, you have to try it the next time you make this dish. I know a lot of people have grilled cheeses with their tomato soup, and essentially that's what this is. So I just added a little bit of ketchup. Now, some people might be wondering, why did she put ketchup in there? When you have lots of canned tomato ingredients, or in this case, tomato sauce, you need a little bit of sweetness to cut the acid. You could also add a pinch of sugar to do this, but I like to add the ketchup because Heinz ketchup has sugar content in it, and it has a great tomato flavor. So I'm not just getting that sweetness, I'm actually getting another small layer of flavor. But that's the whole point, that's the purpose. and then I'm going to add 2 beef bouillon cubes. I'll finish with my seasonings with putting bay leaves on the top, giving it a really good mix, and I'm going to turn that heat down to medium-low and let that simmer gently for about 30 minutes or until the potatoes are completely done. Now, I want to tell you one more thing that you probably would find surprising about this soup recipe. You may not realize it, but it is incredibly healthy. This recipe is one of my great keto diet recipes as well if you're on a low carb situation. You can have a cup of this soup for under 100 calories. You get 3 grams of protein and only 18 grams of net carbs. That's crazy. And the great thing is that this recipe is something the entire family will eat. It doesn't taste like a healthy soup recipe. It just is what it is. It would be a great way to prep your meals for the week so that you have instant access to a good meal that doesn't derail your journey or your progress. And the grilled cheese and the cornbread are totally optional, so you can leave them out if you like, if you think that's not something you want to incorporate. But I'm telling you, they are amazing together. I am super proud to bring you this one for the month of August of our One Pot Wonders. I hope you and your family love it as much as I do. You have to make this one, guys. You have to.